Hey Alpine, it's Monday, time for a daily devotional. Today I want to ask you, which side of the table are you on? The other day I was at breakfast with some good friends of mine, and we were at Jeremiah's there in Ogden. Awesome restaurant, love it. And I was just thinking, we were on this side of the table. We were being served by the wait staff, and the wait staff obviously is on this side. They're on the kitchen side of the table, and it really made us think. It made me think a little bit about the story from John chapter 13. Jesus was with his disciples. He was just getting ready. He knew that he was about to go to the cross. He was having the famous Last Supper with his disciples. And he did this crazy thing. It says that he got up from the meal, he took off his outer clothing, and he wrapped a towel around his waist. And he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet. And then he dried them with the towel that was wrapped around him. And Simon Peter said, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" You see, Peter and the disciples were just shocked. They knew that this isn't what great men were supposed to do. Great men weren't supposed to serve. Great men were supposed to be served. Peter thought, "What are you doing over here on this side of the table, Jesus? You're supposed to be right here. You're supposed to be served. You shouldn't be serving other people." And look at what Jesus says. Jesus said, "You don't realize what I'm doing now, but later you're going to understand." And he goes a little bit later on. He says this in verse 12. He says, when Jesus had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and he returned to his place. And he said this, "Do you understand what I've done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that's what I am. But now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." He says, verse 16, "Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you'll be blessed if you do them," he says. And so we come back to this picture from the other day, and the question that I have for you is, which side of the table do you usually find yourself on in your life? In your home, maybe at church if you're an Alpine or if you attend Alpine regularly. Do you just come on Sunday morning and do you expect to be sitting here and be served? Or are you over here on this side of the table serving others, making Sunday morning an awesome experience? I know we have so many people over here on this side of the table. Again, what about at school? Students, are you serving people in your life? What about in sports? Are you serving? Are you a servant, or are you just the person always wanting to be served? Are you the person who's always wanting to take? Because what Jesus was saying is that if you're a follower of Jesus, you should be a servant. You should spend more time over here and less time over on this side in every area of your life. I encourage you to consider that this morning and to discuss some of these questions before you close up, and spend some time in prayer together if you're doing this with a family, and ask God, make me more of a servant today.